So I'm going to tell you a bit about myself for a couple of minutes, and then we can jump into the action. As I said, I was a startup entrepreneur for quite some time. Then more by accident than by design, I moved into corporate innovation. I joined a large telco company in 2013. They headhunted me, and after exactly 3 weeks, I wanted to leave the company because I said, this is shit. And this is not how things need to happen. And you went through that cycle where you say, well, the company you work for is shit. And then you move on to talking with people from other companies, and you realize that their companies are bad too. And then you say, probably it's a problem in this country. And then you move on and speak at another event in a different country, and you realize, well, probably these two countries are bad. And then you basically come to a conclusion that the entire continent is bad. And then you switch continents, and then you be like, okay, this is a world problem. And I think this is how the corporate startup started as a writing project. It was basically me trying to document my learnings as being, you know what Steve Jobs said, it's more fun to be a pirate than to join the Navy. Well, I was a pirate in the Navy. And this was basically the journey of being a pirate in the Navy. And along the way, I found two other folks and great people, and we started working on this project. And then I started collaborating with a lot of these companies that you see behind me. And in 2018, in February, we got nominated to the British Library Award Book of the Year. And since all three of us were first-time authors, we said, okay, what are our chances of winning? Obviously, I had the impression that we had zero chance of winning, and I decided to book a business trip to Dubai rather than go to London. And on my way out from a restaurant in Dubai, my phone started blowing up. It's like, hey, you won the prize. It's like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. The problem with Dubai is that alcohol is very expensive. So it was a very interesting night. You were very happy on one hand that you won the prize, but then on the other hand, shit, I need to pay for the beers and everything for these people now. So yeah, it's Management Book of the Year. And that's basically everything I want to talk to you about my introduction. And as we evolve the conversation, probably I'm going to let you in on more details. I want to start with two questions. I'm trying to calibrate my talk, basically. How many of you here work in a large company? Raise your hand. Okay, cool. How many of you here work in a scale-up, so a startup that is big? All right, cool. And I assume that everybody else is in a startup? All right, who's in a startup? Okay, cool. Anybody here running an accelerator program? 1, 2? No, just one? All right, cool. So I'll try to have a talk that it's basically able to care for everybody's needs. So let's start. What is innovation for you? Who can tell me what does innovation mean for them? And we have a microphone somewhere. I promise you, it's going to be very interactive. So this is not a session where you come in and sit and do your emails and sleep. What is innovation? Come on, anybody? We have somebody there. Hey.
My name is Monica. So for me, innovation is of two types. First one is the revolutionary kind of innovation, you know, when you have that great idea that changes everyone's life. And then there is the, let's say, the incremental kind of innovation, the small changes that at the end bring you to a totally different level. Okay.
Cool. Anybody else? It was very interesting because you define innovation using the word innovation, right? If you take any dictionary, you can't do that. So this doesn't qualify as an answer. Somebody else? Yeah, we have two people. Yeah, let's start from up.
Thank you. How I would define innovation is an idea or a product or a discussion that, if we consider the market a big debate between companies and between products and between markets, sub-markets, innovation changes the subject of the debate, changes the structure of the debate.
Okay, all right, good. There was somebody here, gentleman here in the second row. New solutions for old problems, okay. Yeah, we can do this actually by shouting. Yeah, let's revert to shouting. Anybody else? Yeah, shout. Something that adds value to the world, okay. Okay, cool. That's good. Anybody else? Just want one more opinion? No? No other opinion? All right, go ahead. Gentleman in the center. You raise your hand. No. Oh, you raise your hand for him to see you? Okay. Now you have to give me the definition of innovation. I caught you with your hand up. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that in the microphone?
Solving problems by using new approaches that haven't been used for that particular problem.
Okay. Sounds good. Perfect. Well, I mean, everybody was right in the way they defined innovation, right? And it's very difficult to put actually a label on innovation. What is innovation, right? We can talk about incremental, right? As you mentioned, right? We can talk about breakthrough. We can talk about disruptive, right? That's also a type of innovation. Everybody else had very good opinions. The way I define innovation, especially in large organizations, I call it something new, novelty, coupled with a sustainable business model. Because if you don't have the sustainable business model part, you basically just call it fancy stuff that doesn't make any money, right? And a lot of companies now invest in labs and invest in a lot of these innovation departments, but everything that's happening there is mainly theatrics, right? It's mainly post-its on the wall, and you measure the innovation by the number of post-its used and all of that stuff. And actually, you needed the sustainable business model component for it to be actual innovation. Otherwise, you can just call it new stuff or cool technology and whatnot. The idea is that there is a distinction between innovation and invention. And this is where I wanted to take the conversation. If you oversimplify the conversation, you're going to realize that invention is converting money into ideas, right? You're doing a lot of experiments in the lab. You're doing a lot of that stuff. And that's the invention part. That's what R&D departments are for. The innovation, what innovation is doing is converting the ideas back into money, right? The problem is that most large organizations are very good at that side of the equation, right? The R&D, where they're spending a lot of money, generating a lot of ideas, generating a lot of new tech, and then they sit on it. You know the example of Xerox Spark, right? Where they invented the mouse and the Ethernet and the UI, and they were just sitting on them. And then it took Steve Jobs and the Apple team to actually make it work, right? Make it work in the market, being viable. So what they did, they added the sustainable business model to an invention, to something new. But before that, Xerox Spark was playing in that side of the equation, and Apple came in and played in this side of the equation, right? The problem is that most organizations can't combine the two, right? So they are just sitting on a lot of ideas without actually making any money. Innovation requires creativity to kick off, but despite what a lot of people think, innovation is actually a discipline game. It's about being deliberate, being disciplined, following a process. Yeah, I know it doesn't sound very innovative, right? It doesn't sound very cool and, you know, wear your hula shirt and whatnot. But that's actually true. So you require that degree of decisive action. You require that degree of deliberation when you talk about managing innovation. And why you need to have a system that's able to do that? Well, it's very simple, because the performance of your entire company, the average performance of your entire company is going to be given by the best player and the worst player, right? So the best performing team and the worst performing team are going to give you the average output of your entire system. By having a clear system with clear guidelines, where you're disciplined, where you're strict, you are actually improving the quality of the worst performing players. And by improving the quality of the worst performing players, you're actually shifting the entire average up. You're not going to affect the best performing players, because they are going to perform regardless of your system. They will find ways in which they can make it work. But for the people that are at the bottom, you're going to help those ones, right? And you know, using analogies from sports, successful teams are not successful just because they have the best players, just because they have a system where they recruit players, they train players, they scout for players, they buy players, they train them. This is where they compete. They compete in the system, not necessarily in the you know, in the actual game on player level. Players are definitely important, but if you don't have the right system, then you're not making it work for you. I want to talk a bit about Anna Karenina because this is very interesting, and you're going to see the connection to systems. How many of you actually read the book? Right? Good. So not everybody, but a good amount. The book starts with a quote, and that's actually the quote from the opening of the book. It says that every happy family is right, and every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. And this translates very well to systems, and this translates very well to the companies you work for. The companies that failed at innovation, they all failed for a different reason. And all the reasons are different. But the companies that succeed at innovation, they're all succeeding because, well, they succeed. You actually don't know why they succeed, right? You look at Google and Amazon, you know that they succeed. You look at Spotify, you know why they succeed. You look at BBVA, you know why they succeed. All the companies that have tried to implement a system, they fail because of one single element in the system. Actually, it's from ecology that this thing came to my mind. It's called in ecology, it's called the Anna Karenina principle. You can actually Google it. And the Anna Karenina principles in ecology says that the ecosystems that were not able to adapt to climate change or to changes within the ecosystems were the ones that failed to adapt one element of the ecosystem, right? The ones that were able to adapt all the elements. The ones that failed because one of the elements, regardless which one, failed to adapt, and then the entire ecosystem failed. So pretty much the same way the corporate innovation works, right? If you might have everything, and then it will work, but if you fail to have one single element of that one, you are going to fail. And throughout the talk, I'm going to give you a sense of what are the elements. But before we do that, I want to play a small game with you. Everybody has their bingo cards? Show me bingo cards. Everybody got bingo cards. Okay. Good. So we're going to find out why does innovation fail in your company. So the way we're going to play this game, you need to also have a pen. And for the people that don't have pens, I have pens with me. I can give you some pens. Let's make sure that everybody has pen and the bingo card first. Everybody got pen? And bingo card? No? You need a pen? Okay. I can help you with a pen. Here you go. One more? Really? I want my Sharpies back, just for you to know. I really want my Sharpies back. Yeah, just toss them around, all three of them, somewhere in the back. The problem is that I forgot how many Sharpies I handed out. So I'm expecting at least 10 back. They're very expensive. Very, very expensive and hard to find. No, they're not. But I still want 10 back. Everybody get pens and bingo cards, right? So the way we're going to play the game is that I'm going to show you some blockers. And in front of each blocker, you're going to see on the screen behind me, there is a number. If that blocker is something that you recognize happening in your company, mark it on the bingo card, right? Every single slide is going to have a different color. So there's just 3 colors. It's gray, black, and I think blue. And the numbers on the bingo cards are also gray, black, and blue. So you're going to find them easier if you guide yourself through the color of the slide. The way to win, you get free blockers in each of the free blocks. That's the bingo. If you reach that, you just raise your hand and shout bingo. On the other hand, if you have 7 at random, you can also win. 7 blockers at random, it doesn't matter. They can all be in 1 block or it can all be in 2 blocks. It doesn't actually matter. Or 4x2. In 4x2, you have 4 blockers in two boxes. Make sense? All right. Cool. Let's see the first one. This was the bingo card. Idea development costs are not being tracked. Okay. If this is not happening in your company, then just don't move. Don't cross it. Our strategy is mainly reactive. So you're always creating a strategy after another competitor created one. We don't collaborate with universities on innovation. Business cases are not followed up on after investment is done. So you just invest and then you totally forget to follow up with the team. We don't invest in startups. Time to market of an idea is not being tracked. Pivoting is hard, we've never did it. And if you don't know what pivoting is, you're probably in the wrong room. We don't have an investment or innovation thesis. Customer validation is done only after there is enough functionality in the product. So you actually build a lot, and then you'll be like, okay, let's see what the customers want. We invest randomly in ideas. Totally random. When measuring innovation, we use the same KPIs as for mature products, mainly financial. No bingo yet? Okay. The technology infrastructure is outdated, making rapid experimenting difficult. We invest mainly in core business ideas. Ideas don't start by having a business model in mind, but by being strategic or good fit. No? All right. To create a strategy takes more than 12 months. You guys work for amazing companies. You seriously do. I never gotten this far without a bingo. It's the first time. Technology is a deciding factor when investing in ideas. Idea development costs are not being tracked. You have no idea how much you pay for innovation. You got bingo. All right. How many you got? Free and free? 7 at random. So you didn't get the bingo. You got 7 at random. It's okay. 7 at random. Okay, let's continue. Somebody might get a bingo. 4x2. All right. 4x2 and 7 at random. Let's see. Maybe we get a bingo in the end. A clear development plan is required before ideas are being invested in. Okay. The incentive scheme doesn't cover innovation. So you're not being incentivized to innovate in your company. All right. Perfect. I will just continue because I think there's just a couple left. Sorry. The legal and compliance department doesn't allow us to experiment. Anybody here working in legal and compliance? No? Okay. For new ideas, only IT-related costs are being tracked. Working on innovation only happens in your own spare time. You're not given the mandate to work on innovation. Our product portfolio is opaque. Only, only selected few know it. So not everybody knows your company's product portfolio. Decision making is not requiring any customer validation, just business cases. Idea validation is done only through desk research and peer validation. Decision making is not requiring any customer validation, just business cases. We don't use market evidence in strategy formulation. There is no way of knowing how long an idea has been worked on. We use outdated or repurposed tools. The ones we need or want are not compliant, right? Like Slack or Trello or other very cool ones. The innovation strategy is not connected with the core business strategy. Ideas are fully financed from day one. We don't do metered funding. Innovation is done only in our lab or by our innovation department, so it's not everybody's job. The criteria for investing in ideas are unknown. Only a small group of leaders know our company strategy. We don't have distinct processes for new ideas, just the same as for mature ideas. Idea pipeline is very well hidden. There is no clear mandate for innovation strategy. You don't have a CIO role. No mandate for business model innovation. We don't kill ideas that don't work. We invest further in them because there's a sensible way to do, right? We don't have a clear stated innovation strategy. We don't collaborate with startups and SMBs, small medium businesses. All right, let's see how we've done. So we have one bingo. What do you have there? 7 at random. 7 at random here as well? 7 at random? All right, let's do it this way. 7 at random, raise your hand. Whoa, wow, okay. 4 by 2? 4 by 2, okay. And we have one bingo or how many bingos? 2 bingos, 3 bingos. Okay, 4 bingos, 5 bingos. All right, everybody get a bingo now. Oh, everybody in the back. All right, so what I want the people with the bingo to do, write your name and your email on that bingo card. And just leave it somewhere here as you exit the room, and I'm going to mail you a digital copy of the corporate startup. You can also mention if you want EPUB, PDF, or MOBI. I think you guys need it the most, actually. Right? So, so just mark there what type of copy you want, and just leave it with your email address to one of the volunteers or here on the desk. Make sense? All right. So I've actually gotten these blockers by auditing a couple of companies around the world, and it was very interesting to see that it didn't actually matter what industry the company was in. The blockers were pretty much the same. And I said, well, let's just create a list of blockers and have them pick which ones they feel they have in their company, and just spare me the time. And from that, I said, well, maybe we can create a bingo game out of it. Of course, it's the reverse of winning, right? So it's at bingo, you actually win something. Now you realize how bad your company is. How the system works, and going back to the system, and you actually have it on the back, on the reverse of your bingo card. The way the system should work is that you start by creating your vision for the future, basically, your innovation strategy. Then you take that innovation strategy, you put it into practice. So basically, you're testing your vision. Then you move it into your innovation management block, where you're actually learning if the market reacted in a way in which you wanted it to. And then you send the learnings back to your innovation strategy, so you have an option to either double down on the innovation or the innovation strategy, or create a new one. The idea is that you need to create a system that will allow you to take a cycle like this one every 6 months or every year. The problem is that in most companies, these cycles take north of 3 years, right? And by doing that, you're actually creating strategies for an outdated technology. So you're always going to be a lagger in your particular industry. Make sense? All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to talk to you about how do we govern innovation, right? And some lessons learned. And in order to do that, we're going to play a very, very fun game. And I am actually going to sit here. And we're going to start playing. First of all, I will explain it to you. So what is going to happen in this game? It's very simple. We're going to play, actually, let me put it in the beginner mode first. Come on. Okay, doesn't want to do that. Perfect. So what's going to happen is that we have a budget of $50. We're going to have a ball coming from the funnel at the top. The ball is going to cost us $10. And we have our payoffs at the bottom from $0 to $200. Make sense? You pay $10 for each ball. Cool? All right. Let's see what happens if we start playing this. Okay. That's bad. We have money for exactly one more bowl. Perfect. Now we're out of money. Right. Do you feel that this is the way products are being developed in your company? I guess not. But did you know, let me rephrase the question. Do you have a friend working in a company in which product development is happening like this? Right, now everybody's raising their hand. Yeah, my neighbor and two friends, and right? All right. How can you win this? How can you win in a situation like this? You want to tilt the pyramid? Yeah, that won't work. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You have to shout. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good idea. When you actually have no control over your innovation governance, try to lower the cost of innovation, right? So instead of playing with $10 balls, play with 5, play with 1, right? A lot of companies make this mistake. They actually believe that by investing more in ideas, the quality of the idea will increase. I always give the metaphor of playing the lottery, right? So you have two options at the lottery. You can either buy a $100,000 ticket, or you buy 100,000 tickets worth $1. The thing is that regardless of which one you choose, the jackpot is the same, and the odds of success are exactly the same in both cases. Right? But a lot of large organizations are drawn to the idea of buying a $100,000 ticket. Okay? What's another way in which we can win? Well, it's very good. How else can we win? Sorry? Stop early? Well, in this case, we can't stop at all. But hold that idea because that's very good. We're gonna see it in the next levels. Okay. Sorry? Yes, that's the way to do it. If you can't control it, just play it at scale. Let's see what happens actually. You might be right or you might be wrong. Anybody counted how many balls we played in this one? 5? About 5? Okay. So if that is the case, that means that we have to be able to play more than 5. So I'm going to release 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. obviously we have money for another 7. Sounds good. Another 7. Perfect. Ooh, look at that. We have money for 2 more. Ah, sorry. Come on, come on. No. Or, yeah, we have money for 1 more. This is basically every CFO. Oh, we have money for 1 more idea. Next quarter, yeah, money for 1 more. I mean, it's going quite good for us. We're hoping for that Airbnb. No. Okay. It's going well. Perfect. Anyways, I think we're out of money. But your idea was actually very good. We played, I don't know, did we play 20 balls? I think close to 20, right? If anybody counted. Sorry? More than 20? More than 20. Okay, okay. Yeah, so as you can see, if you have absolutely no governance or absolutely no control over governance in your innovation department, there's 2 things you can do. You can either lower the cost of initial innovation or play it at scale. This is just the only 2 options that you have in order to win. Right? Let's try to see what happens if we get a bit smarter now. A lot of people say, "Oh, maybe we can stop them." So we got better. And what we're going to have now is that instead of paying $10 up front, we pay only $5 for the idea. And then we have a gate in the middle of the process from the moment the idea was launched to the moment where it reaches the market. And as you can see, there's a gate there. Now we can decide if we let ideas through or not. If we let ideas go through, we have to pay them $5. But the initial cost now is just 5. The total cost is still 10. Make sense? All right. You decide. You are the chief innovating officer. No? How many people are in favor of yes? How many people are in favor of no? Because now it's basically it's a question of appetite for risk. Yes. How many people are for yes? Okay, it's going to be yes. Democracy. Let's see what happens. Yeah, great. Very good decision, guys. Very good decision. How about this one? Definitely no. Yes, you still only did? How many people will say yes to this one? You guys are insane. It's going to be a no. You want to see what happens? Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Come on. Great. I'm going to close the gate again. What do you say? No to anybody? Just the one on the left? Okay. Why would you want to open this one? For fun, right? Yeah. Okay, let's just leave. Should we leave the first 3 open or just the first 2? Just the first one? First 2? Let's do the following. Let's reset. Who said the first one? Just the first one? Okay, let's see what happens. I am the CEO of the company. I just hired you as my VP of Innovation. And that's what you said. All right, perfect. Let's see what happens. Your ROI is negative. Right, okay. I'm sorry to inform you, but you're fired. Fine, okay. Who said first two? Come on, reset. Who said first two? Okay, let's see what happens with the first two. Come on. All right. Lovely. Look at that ROI. Right. Ooh. All right, let's stop here and discuss a second. This is getting better and better. And you can actually take the risk and open that last remaining gate there. You can also take that risk, but I'm not going to do it. What does this translate to in terms of governing innovation? What does this translate to? What does this model show you? And you have to shout because I have the lights in my eyes, so it's very difficult for me to see who's doing what. Sorry? Yes, you're minimizing risk. Yes, exactly. You're minimizing risk. You have a gate in the middle. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So basically what I'm translating what you just said too is that it's good to have criteria, but don't be very strict. Because if you are very strict, we ended up like our previous VP of innovation. And yes, he was actually killing everybody. He was very, very strict. Make sense? Okay, let's do something else. Let's do something a bit more advanced now. And that's when I'm going to stop and you guys are going to play. Reset, and we go to master level. Now we're playing at master level. So at master level, we are still paying $10 for the ideas to reach the market, right? At the bottom is still going to be $10. But we're going to pay $1 for every iteration. So every time an idea passes through a level towards market, we have to pay $1. They're basically development costs. There's business costs that you incur. They all have to be accounted for, so you're paying $1. Now, the very good part about this system is that now you can close and open any single gate you see. So every single line between 2 points can be either open or closed. Now they're all opened. Make sense? All right, I'm going to give you 5 gates you can place wherever you want. And now I want one volunteer to start the game. You can place, go ahead. So you have to position your gates. You have only 5. You can position them wherever you want. And you actually have to click there. You're my new VP of innovation. Well, it's up to you and your performance. I'm an equal opportunity employer. Okay. You got, let's do 4 gates. You get 1 more. Make it more interesting, and then everybody will get 4 gates. All right, go ahead, launch your ideas. Launch 10 at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, let's see what happens. Launch another 10. And 10 more, so we get 30. We have a good sample size. Very good. Look at that. ROI 144%. I'm not sure. I want to say that I want to fire you. but more for diversity purposes. Right? No, it's a very good ROI. Remember 144.2, because now I'm going to ask somebody else to come here and design another governance system, and see if they can beat your 144.2. Who wants to try? They'll be like, no, he's 144. I'm not trying. Trust me, I've seen more than 144 when we played this. Yep, lovely. You need to go to reset on the left, and then you can place your 4 gates. Yep, there. And you have to turn your head. Yeah, that's how it works. And then now, yes, move towards left. Left, reset. Reset is basically here. That's where reset is, here. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. There, click. No, I think you went too far. Click. As in click. Perfect. Now you have 4 gates. Okay. Launch 10 ideas at a time for free batches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Another 10. These were not 10. But launch another 12. Sorry? He's getting the data. Right. I have to say that you're fired. It was 73% ROI. I have another guy here that was able to deliver 144. But thank you very much. Thank you very much. So what can you say about this system here? No. I'm talking about his governance system. Yes, it is random, like everything in life. But about this governance system, what do you think of it? Not everybody at once, please. Go ahead. What do you think about your system? Yes. Yep. You were very aggressive with your teams in your program. You were very aggressive. You'd be like, all right, you need to show me that you're moving in the right direction from day 1. Otherwise, I'm going to kill you. Right? And if it's not going to be day 1, it's going to be day 2. And if it's not day 2, it's going to be day 3, day 4, day 5. But that's it. Right? What do you think about his system? Yeah. Yep. Killing ideas too early. This is basically the lesson. Thank you. That's basically the lesson learned here. You have to let ideas progress. You have to let ideas mature to some extent, and then pull the plug. Make sense? All right. So you were very aggressive with your program, and you were very strict when you just opened that 1 gate there. So don't be too aggressive. Don't be too strict. Who else wants to try? Go ahead. Help yourself. You need to fiddle around with the mouse and go and reset. Left. You have to find a reset now. All right, it's there. You see? You don't know where to scroll. Almost there. Up. Yeah. I think this is actually the hardest part of the game, finding the reset button. All right, so now you have to place 4 gates. Up to you. 1, 2, 3. That you did not place that one. I have 1 more. Okay. Go ahead and launch 10 ideas at a time. All right. Ooh. All right. You have another 10. Yeah, I guess there were more than 10. You are fired. Or you get to be our sitting VP of innovation for the time being. So RY 219. That's very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How did you create the system? Tell us, how did you create the system? Why did you place the gates like that?
I wanted to let the idea go further, but control at the end
At the end of the tunnel, right? Okay. I really like your position. Go ahead.
my strategy was to go towards the left, but controlling the second part of the pyramid.
Mm.
Because I saw earlier that if I put the
Gates.
before the middle of the pyramid, they go too random.
Yeah.
So if I control the second part, they'll go.
You're able to skin him. All right. Good. What I like about your system is that it's first of all, you position gates at, I'm not going to say random intervals, but you had all right. It was very random then.
Just kind of random, but having this in mind to put at the end of the
Okay. Right. So basically, what's happening here is, as you can see, he has multiple touch points with the teams throughout the process of development. Thank you very much. You're still the acting VP of innovation. So he basically was able to stop ideas at different maturity levels, but it's very interesting that he put one at the very end. So before you actually go to market, I can actually kill you there. And what I really like about yours is that they're constantly spread apart. So you always have one layer in between gates. They're not consecutive, which allows for the team to spend some time and move left or right. Make sense? All right. Who else wants to try? We have 219.42 to beat. I've actually seen more than 219 on 30 ideas. Anybody? Anybody? You want to try again? No. You're the acting VP. You can't do that. Go ahead. Spend 5 minutes to find the reset button, and then up. Should I? And now to the left, the other left. And now up, almost there. You're almost there. No, the other left. Yeah. Almost. Yeah, perfect. Click. You have to actually click it? No, click. It's just click. Perfect. Now you have to place your gates, 4 gates. No, don't play, because you haven't put any gates. I can probably do it faster. You can just tell me where it is. Yeah? Just guide me. I hope I can do it faster. All right, go ahead. You want to, here? 2 of them, here? You sure you don't want 3? Okay. These 2. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. You're not getting the job. You're not getting the job. I'm really sorry. So what's happening here is that you started very, very good, right? You wanted to have an idea of if the ideas are heading in the right direction. But then again, you were very aggressive. You were very, very aggressive, stopping them after their first iteration. Hey, if you're not moving in the right direction, I'm going to totally kill you, right? You have a lot of ideas. So actually, if we open that one where you caught like what, 17? Yeah, 17 ideas are caught there. Let's see what happens if we're actually improving your ROI if we open that one. I'm very, very curious. So it had 121 ROI. Yeah, it's the same thing basically. We didn't make much. Yeah. Anyways, so don't be very aggressive, and don't be aggressive at the beginning of the funnel. When a team just starts, if they don't have the right evidence after the first 2 weeks of working on that idea, don't just stop them. Give them another 2 weeks. Of course, don't overcommit. Anybody else wants to try? Go ahead. Because then I can show you some mistakes that I've seen in other groups, which were very interesting. We're getting better at finding the reset button. That's a major improvement. All right. Go ahead. So these were your first 10. Another 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12. You have 8 more. You have 8 more. You have to play the 8 more. It's a fair game. All right. It's very good actually. Thank you very much. Have you noticed that one ball that went all the way to the right? Have you noticed that one? That's a team which is very good at PowerPoint presentations. No, seriously, that's a team that like knows exactly how you're going to stop them. They know exactly your criteria you're looking for, and they're going to game the system. And I'm not joking, there's a lot of them in a corporate environment. Like if people know what they're going to be measured on, and they're going to falsify data in order to pass through that gate. You've seen that, right? So there was one team there. You have a problem in your company, so you need to talk with your folks there. This is very good. What I like about it is your approach basically. You know what? I'm going to seal off that part which is not going to give me any ROI. The problem with yours, and I think it can be made better, is that you're actually losing a lot of money on these ideas here. On these ideas here, you're losing a lot of money. Why? Because you've already invested so much, only to find out that they're going to end up in basically in a zero. So in these ideas here, you've actually invested $9. Correct? So this is a very good example of not allowing your teams to mature too much. If you're not allowing them to mature at all, like in the previous case, you know what's happening. If you allow them to mature way too much, then you're gonna end up having a budgeting issue. You're spending money on something that we know that eventually won't work. This governance system might be good, but it's very prone to mistakes. So it can be gamed, and it's very prone to the randomness factor, right? So if you would have a lot of ideas moving into the right, in this system you would have lost a lot of money because you've already overcommitted budget, only to learn that they are not heading in the right direction. So we are not stopping them earlier on, but very good try. Anybody else wants to try? Calm down. You have to show us how good you are at finding the reset button. That's the first try. Look at that, like a pro. Like a pro. 4 gates. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what happens. Those guys were very good at PowerPoint. 10 more. Just rapid fire. Bam, 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 10, 10. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, you get 8 more. Yeah, I'm really sorry for you. I'm very happy with my last VP of innovation. Thank you very much. But this is another take on actually the successful model. You just moved it a bit way to the right. His version initially was the same idea of 4 gates placed one after another with 1 iteration in the middle, but his version was basically a bit more to the left. Yours was a bit more to the right, and you stopped some ideas that could have potential of winning. Like you have 6 ideas there in the middle stuck. Those can be successful. So again, you are very strict in terms of your criteria. All right, one more, and then we can go over the lessons learned, please. What was the ROI to beat? 214. That was yours, right? 220? 219 something. Yeah. But it was yours, right? All right, perfect. I'm thinking about it. Let's see. I just hired a new guy. And he was able to find the reset button very fast, so that's a good indication. Okay. We're gonna buy you a Mac as a bonus. Sorry? Okay, you like the blue screen? Yeah. No, everybody's iterating on your version, as you can see. Ooh, okay. And one more. Go. That's right. Two. Everybody's good at PowerPoint presentations in your company. Come on, more ideas. That's just 10. You have 30 in total. Oh, this is your 20. Okay, 10 more. 9 more. 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna keep with my hire. I'm very sorry. Again, I think you were mainly unlucky. I think this was the problem that you had, because you had a lot of balls that were just floating around your gates. They were not going into the gates nor going to the money side. They were just floating around. So I think you were unlucky. Makes sense? Okay, let's go over the lessons learned, and then I'm going to tell you some elements of the system and how do they connect with this game. And to do that, I need to find my mouse, which I don't know where it is. Come on. You know what? I'm going to do this. And now I am going to find the presentation. Lovely. And I guess it works. Right, so these are some of the lessons learned, right? So lower the cost of innovation. Innovation is a number game, so play it at scale. Don't be aggressive and don't be too strict. Aggressive meaning stopping ideas too early. Strict meaning stopping everything that just is not going to end up being an Airbnb, right? Going into completely left. Implement metered funding. That was very interesting, and a lot of companies suffer from that. They don't have metered funding. Metered funding means whenever you take one step, you get more of the budget, and not all the money up front, as in the first case of the game you've seen. Use data over faith, right? So we be data-driven. And probably one of the most interesting one, and a lot of companies don't actually pick up on that, is that governance design is actually an iterative process. What we have done here, we were doing multiple iterations of our governance system. You just happened to be one of the first that was able to be successful, but when you went to the computer, you've already seen other versions failing, and you learned from that. Most of the companies I've worked with, they just created one governance system, and they stuck with it. It's just like, this is it. Like, what do you mean, this is it? If it doesn't work, let's just change it, right? So you need to understand that changing your company and creating a governance system for your probably accelerator program or for your department is an iterative process. And what does this mean? Actually, it means that you should stop managing people and start managing the system. The role of a manager is not to manage people. The role of a manager is to manage the system and hire the right people to work in that system. These are the elements of an innovation ecosystem. So you have to have an innovation thesis. You have to have dynamic budgeting or metered funding, as we've spoken. You have to have an innovation framework. You need to manage your portfolio. You need to have innovation accounting, and you need to have practice. And I'm going to give you a couple of sentences on each, and then I'm going to take some questions from you because we're nearing the end. Innovation thesis means having direction for your innovation effort, deciding where you want to be, where you want to go, and how does innovation need to look like in your company. Venture capital companies have an investment thesis. Much in the same way, you have to have an innovation thesis within a corporation. In terms of the game, the innovation thesis was basically a stop in one of those free rows of iterations at the top. If you're heading in the right direction, I'm going to stop you. Why? Because this is what the innovation thesis said. I'm not going to invest in ideas that are not going to be moving in that direction. That's your innovation thesis. Metered funding, we already spoke about it, so basically just giving money as they progress. Innovation framework is basically your product lifecycle or your stage gate process. This was exactly what you guys were building. You were building your innovation framework. When do I stop ideas? How do I stop them? What are my criteria? Innovation portfolio is basically having an understanding of what's going in the entirety of your company. Where do all my bets sit? Am I doing just incremental innovation? Because we spoke initially about incremental innovation, right? Am I just doing that? Or am I moving into just disruptive? Or I have adjacencies? Or how does the distribution of my bets look like? Innovation accounting is basically how do you measure innovation? And I'm not going to talk here because we can talk for another 2 hours about innovation accounting, but basically is asking the right question at the right time as the product matures. So you don't ask the KPI, financial KPI questions second day after they launched, but you don't ask ridiculous questions about desirability after 2 years they've been in the market. And your innovation practice is basically exactly what we've done. We've practiced our innovation efforts, and we improved. Make sense? All right. I don't have anything else, but I want to hear questions from you because I just put aside about 10 minutes of questions. Because I'm sure there are a lot of questions. I hope there are a lot of questions. Go ahead.
Can we have the link for the game?
Yes, you can have the link for the game. It's chromatic.com/Plinko. Yes, this one was running on my own machine because there's no Wi-Fi in this room. It's a game I've developed with some partners in San Francisco, and we actually use this game to train executives. So whenever we talk with executives in large companies, they have simple minds, and you have to show them a game for them to understand how innovation looks like. Sorry? A winning model for the game? If I would have done it, I think it would have been very close to his, and I think the ones that were successful were very close to his. I think that I've seen the highest score I've seen was the return of 330-something% on 30 ideas with a model very similar to his. But then again, you're very prone to the random factor. But that was very close to the winning model. But don't play the game. Try to learn from the game, not just win the game. Right. It's a very good question. First of all, I would not define open innovation as you have done, but that's another conversation, and I'm going to put it aside because I think the core of your question was actually in the second part. I think it's more about the mandate, right? So if you're talking about changing your entire organization, people need to have the mandate or be allowed to do at least 1 day per week doing innovation, right? So it comes just from mandate. I'm working now with a financial institution in Scandinavia, and one of the things we are trying now to implement is a governance system in which, for the exploration phase of an idea, where you basically just have to talk with 5 clients, do some desk research, everybody is allowed to spend 4 hours up to 8 hours per week doing that. And the manager knows that, and there's basically in the system, there's basically a checkbox saying like 4 hours go to this person to research idea X, and there's a link to what idea they're researching. And they have to come back in 2 weeks and say, oh, this is what I found. So it's mainly from mandate, it's mainly from how your company is structured. Welcome. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, you.
So there's this concept of investing in innovation if the clients want it. For example, I have a product that I find that it needs some more features, and I have some clients that are like willing to take these features, but they're not willing to pay for it. So like investing in innovation only if somebody pays for it. In this situation, do I take a decision to drop out the features because nobody pays for them, or do I invest and take a risk?
It's a very good question. It's a very, very good question. It really depends on how your company is structured. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. If your company is just based on that particular product, don't do it, because you don't have the sustainable business model component of what innovation is. If, on the other hand, that product sits in an ecosystem of products, then you might take the risk. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by ecosystem of products. What do you guys think that Google is investing in self-driving cars? How do they get revenue for ads? They're not going to show ads in the car.
Yeah, it integrates with their services and has like can be a part of the ecosystem.
You guys are very close, but it's not it. Go ahead. You're very far. That's it. That's it. Their model is you see ads from the time you spend on your handheld device. If I'm able to take time away from you doing other stuff and move that time into seeing ads or doing activities that might make you see ads, I'm making money. And on a commute that's usually 2 hours return, in 1 week you basically moved 10 hours. You shifted 10 hours from not seeing ads to potentially seeing ads. So this is why I personally believe that Google can win in the self-driving car, because their business model allows for that. Bosch, for example, or Continental, who are also in that industry, I don't think they will succeed that much, because obviously they have the technology, but they don't have the business model around it. And to your question, for Google, it makes a lot of sense to invest in an idea, although they know they're not going to make money directly from that. But they're going to make money indirectly, because it's time away from driving, seeing ads, making money, right? But very good question. And I hope the explanation made sense. Yes, whoa, okay, 1, 2. Ladies first. You had your hand up. Oh, you were just playing with your hair? Okay, okay. Gentlemen first then.
Hi. If you cannot hire a specialist for innovation, how can you encourage the team to do innovation stuff for you, for an SMB, a small company?
If you can't hire an expert for innovation, well, I think that everybody's job, I mean, innovation is everybody's job, right? And you need to train them to think like that. You need to train your folks, send them to this conference, and seriously, you need to inspire them. You need to inspire them to think outside of the box, if you want. And by outside of the box, I mean basically taking more risk. It's a very difficult situation to be honest with you. But try to hit it home with the idea that, hey, it's everybody's job. Yes, in some cases it's not the first thing on their agenda, or with some of the folks it's not their first thing on their agenda. It just might be at the bottom. But nonetheless, it is everybody's job, and you have to hit it home with them every time they talk to you, every time you're trying to influence and just say, hey, let's think about another idea and whatnot. It's a very good question. Right, there was one here. Improving the... Sure. I think the way you should view it, I have no direct answer to your question, but the way I would approach it, I would view these activities as a pipeline, right? In order for them to practice innovation, they need to be trained on innovation. In order for them to get trained on innovation, they get to be excited about innovation. In order for them to get excited about innovation, they get to get exposed to that. So attending conferences is just the first part of your pipeline. And then you can just buy them some online courses, and then they get exposed to how the practice of innovation, basically, right? How do you do it, tools and whatnot. And then you have to create a system for them to work in an innovative way. So think about all these activities and try to place them on a pipeline and then see where am I failing in terms of inspiring and having people work on innovation. Because just conferences is not going to help you. You're basically facing the issue that a lot of companies face when they invest a lot in hackathons, right? And they just invest in hackathons, they generate 200 ideas, and that's it. There is no system afterwards that will take those 200 ideas and start working on them, and the system afterwards is going to take those and implement them within business units or even countries or regions. So think about it as a pipeline. I would encourage you to do that. All right? There's one in the back.
Hi.
Hey.
My question is, how much should we innovate? Because nowadays we have a lot of technology in all the fields. So a prototype versus a product that it's working on a market. Should we take a product and innovate and improve the product, or should we create a prototype? So my question is...
So it's a very good question. Are you a manager in a large company?
No.
No? Because this is basically a dilemma it's basically the innovator's dilemma. You have two options, right? Should I invest in an existing product which is going to give me an ROI of 1.15, or should I risk it and invest in something that might offer me a greater return?
Or maybe in another technology that doesn't exist.
I don't think this is a question. I don't think the question here is either or. I think it's more you have to do both, and you have to have seriously, you have to have a balanced portfolio. So you have to constantly invest in renewing the core, improving the existing, but also start creating your new growth avenues. So it's not a question or this over that, but it's more about doing them together. In terms of portfolio management, they call it the golden ratio, right? Core, adjacent, transformational. Distribution is 70% core, 20% adjacency, and 10% transformational. And you can now compute what does this mean in terms of resource allocation and money. So it's a very, very good question. And again, you need to define what is outside of the core. Is it an adjacency, or is it totally different transformational idea?
Okay, thank you very much.
But you need to do them all.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Last question, please.
Last question. Okay.
So I wanted to elaborate on my previous question regarding the product ecosystem.
Right.
So how big does this ecosystem have to be? Because if I have free products, for example, and I see that there are some features in the market that clients want, but I don't want to invest in them because the clients are not paying. Should I, and for example, this is the ideal case when I don't have any big competition. Let's say I'm the top free player in the game in my industry. Should I take this strategy, or like wait for the clients to invest, or should I invest and bring them features? So I mean, which is the direction I should take in this this situation?
It's very complicated. It's a very, very complicated question. I would encourage you to go back and analyze your business model for all those three ideas. Place it, use the business model canvas and play around with all this potential. No, first of all, play around with the current business model, see where you fail in capitalizing on the trend, right? See where you fail in generating revenue, and then come up with other business model innovation initiatives. So within the same constraints of the product that you already have in the market, what are other business models that can work there? And try to prototype those new business models. Try to test those business models. See if you can move away from pay-per-click to subscription, or from subscription to one-time purchase and whatnot. But what I really like about your question is that you're already thinking in that direction. You realize there's an issue, and now you need to think about a new business model behind it. It's very difficult for me to come and say now, kill them all or not, because I really don't want you to sue me afterwards, right? But in general, think about business model innovation, right? We can talk offline about that. Maybe you can give me more detail, and I can give you a better answer.
Okay.
And then I'm not going to make a fool of myself in front of the camera. All right?
Thank you, Dan. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I encourage you to find Dan afterwards and have one-to-one conversations.
Thank you.
Big round of applause.
Thank you.